So, how do you know? I mean, really know if somebody is right for you, if they are the one? Or how do you know if this is somebody you should get into business with, somebody you should work for? How do you know if this is a positive friendship that's going to nourish you or a toxic one that's going to drain you? Stick around. We are going over the one simple test that you can do anytime to determine and discern who should be in your space. If you're watching for the first time, thank you. My name is Chelsea and I'm an intuitive healer. So let's just get right into it because this is going to be a short video, I think. How do you discern who should be in your energy field, in your space, in your life? It's a very important question these days, and a lot of us for many, many years ignored it, and that's caused a lot of heartache and a lot of suffering. So how do you go about telling? Because some people are really good. We are in an age where narcissists are getting called out, and we know those tricky little manipulative tactics that they can use to seem really charming at first, and then all of a sudden we're caught in this spiral of toxicity that we had no idea we were heading towards. This is how you determine, and you're going to be using your intuition on this, but it won't feel as if you are. Are you ready? You will know if somebody is right for you because you will like the version of you that appears, that comes to the surface when you're around them. It's simple. It's really as simple as that. And let me explain a little bit more what I mean when I say that. So have you ever been around somebody who, on the surface, you really can't explain why, but just something about them makes you this anxious, indecisive, nervous, almost kind of like childlike version of yourself where they can ask you, hey, what do you want to eat? And you're like, I don't know. I mean, I guess, whatever you want to do. And all of a sudden, you're totally not yourself. And then you go hang out with somebody else the next day and you're cool, you're calm, you're collected. If you're like me, you're still nerdy and still geeky and still awkward, but there's a calmness and an owning of that version of yourself. Have you ever felt that difference? That is your alignment. That is when your intuition is telling you, A, this person is good for you. If you like the version of yourself that you are when you're with them. And it can get a little fuzzy when you're on maybe like the first date or two because, everybody's a little awkward, everybody's a little, or, if it's the first meeting or if it's an interview, everybody's a little like on edge. So I get that. But generally speaking, even then, there's an immediate ease to the people who are going to be good for you. There's an immediate trust, there's an immediate comfort, there's an immediate sense of, I could say something screwy and they won't judge me for it. There's a feeling of non-judgment there. That's what I'm trying to get at. And by the opposite token, the people who are not good for you may never let on. You may never be able to document and tell all your friends, this is why I don't want this person in my life. You may never be able to articulate that. Usually you can, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes they're really, really good at keeping things on the surface level. But you will find yourself reacting in ways that you just don't like. For example, whenever I've been in a toxic relationship, usually because I was in a pattern of codependence, I was in a pattern of trying to love somebody into changing. Nobody's done that before, right? I was in a pattern of trying to overlook all of their actions, so I really could never tell why I was leaving someone. I just knew that I didn't like that version of myself. When I left a marriage, I could look back in retrospect and say, okay, yeah, it was this, and this. And that all took some time to unravel. But the very reason that I knew I had to get out was because I was turning into somebody that I didn't want to be. I was turning into somebody who was angry, who was frustrated, who was tired all the time, who was anxious. I was turning into this version of me that it was like a shell of myself. And it only took me stepping away from that situation to be able to look back and say, oh, that's why I was doing this. That's why I was becoming this person, was because of the energetic mismatch and the values mismatch, the communication mismatch. All of these things were causing me to turn into a character that really was not me, but it was out of defense. And somebody who is not meant for you will put you in that place of defense. I've also dated a couple people who made me feel like a very insecure version of myself. I couldn't make a decision. I would say things off the cuff and I would feel immediately embarrassed. I'd feel immediately judged. So that's how you know if there is a feeling like you can't be your full and authentic self with a person. Look into that. Now, friends, bosses, coworkers, some of those things, there's a trade-off. If your boss and you are just never destined to be buddies, you can still have a decent job and still have a good job depending on your environment. But wouldn't it be so great if you could use this? If you're between two jobs, one boss made you feel great, the other boss made you feel anxious, and like they were watching over your shoulder the whole time, even though it's just in the interview. Wouldn't it be great if you could make that decision right off the bat? Same with friendships, same with partnerships. And, there's different levels, but especially with seeking out your life partner, always, always, always go back and reflect on how does this person make me show up in the world when I'm with them? Or even when I've made a connection to them. How does this person make me show up if I'm at work and I don't text them back right away? Am I going to feel like I've done something horribly wrong? Or are they going to bring out the best version of me? Are they going to not only the physical, like the guy I'm with now, I cook. I am cooking in love with that man. That is the level of love that there is. I enjoy cooking, and that has never been the case. So yes, there's that physical and that action part of being a better you that you just kind of naturally slip into. But there's also, when you are around this person, do you become calmer? Do you become more at ease? Do you become that version of you that you would love to be all the time? And that's a really, really, really big indicator of whether or not somebody should be welcomed into your space or not, because your energy, your life force is so important. It's the only thing you get in this world, really. It's the only thing you can guarantee is that if you are living and breathing, you have an energy field. And you have a soul, and you have a heart, and you have a mind and emotions. And in order for you to really nourish those things and nourish that part of you that is you, it's so important to be very discerning with who you let into your life. And when we start settling, that's when things start going screwy for us, isn't it? How many of us have settled for somebody who doesn't make us feel good and only realized that it turned into a shit show? So, next time you are debating on how do I know if this person is good for me? How do I know if I should go further with this or cut it off? I mean, I just don't. If you're in that indecisive place, look into that too. Because sometimes we are indecisive just because our brain's going, well, what if? But sometimes our indecision is an indicator that there's something off that we're already noticing. So, if you're feeling indecisive, first of all, check in with that. And then check in with, what am I like with this person in my life? What am I like when there's that string of connection with this person? And do I like who I am when that person is at the surface? Do I like what that version of me looks like, what that version of me feels like? So, if you have any questions with that kind of discernment or need help with clearing some past traumas to get to a neutral level where you can make that decision for yourself and not from a trauma base or not from a fear base, give me a shout. Subscribe this video, or like this video or subscribe to the channel, ideally both. And I can't wait to see you next time. Hopefully I'll be able to get my words right by then.